Please could stop old leftists getting way too cozy. These media moguls getting way too nosy. All I ever heard a black man say is you owe me. If it wasn't for us, you'd be a cannibal, homie. It's time we start getting the respect we deserve, instead of giving these people something they didn't earn. These immigrants showing out with a whole lot of nerve. If she was back home, babe, they would have beheaded her. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism. Baby, don't be absurd. Nationalism's not a bad word. Nationalism. Nationalism.
Hello, Stevie, are you there? Stevie, where'd you go? So, somebody should have told me earlier there was no music playing, dude. Oh my, that was like 5 minutes of no music. I had it going, and then Stevie jumps in studio. I muted it so I could hear him. I don't know why I thought I don't know why I thought I could hear it. So I thought you guys must have been able to hear it too. Man, that's just like emblematic of my life, dude. Yep. Oh, Stevie, where you at, man? And here we go. Here's another mistake for me. I didn't even know he was there. I was trying to message him.
My apologies, dude. I was having technical issues.
Oh, I got you. Didn't know. I thought you just popped your camera off for a minute.
Hello, hey, everyone. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I'm winging it. It's all good.
Yeah, how's life, Mr. Westford?
Good and very stressful. Having a third kid on the way and having 2 kids.
That was amazing. When I found that out, I was like, dude, that's awesome. I didn't even, how far due is she?
She's due like beginning of June. I had 27 weeks, something like that.
Wow. Cheers to you, my friend.
Thank you. But like, it's just all the little things, that add up. Like my big headphones, my daughter like yanked on them and they broke, and my 3-year-old was playing in the cat litter earlier while we were making breakfast and didn't find it until it's everywhere.
Dude, I looked out I was in a meeting yesterday. I looked out my window and my kid's eating dog food in the playground.
Well, at least that's like, so like, at least sort of food. It's not poop.
Right. This is true. But I was just like, what the hell is going on here, man? So, hysterical. Life has been a ride, man. Just a total ride. Like, personally,
you keep your head down and keep going.
Dude, tell me about it. Like, if you try to get like involved or enveloped, you know what I mean? You literally, I think the quote, like the psyop on that whole ordeal is to desensitize, would be like what the word would be to make someone insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to cut some stuff back in my life if I can. I'm spinning too many plates. I got family and kids, and that's part of why I haven't streamed that much is like I'm just doing all this stuff and I don't want to come on and just complain because I'm like, I know I'm just going to complain. So I wouldn't want to listen to somebody complain. So I don't want to make somebody listen to somebody complain.
That's respectable. That's totally, it's totally respectable to, and to like minimize, you know what I mean? To minimize the tech. Again, remember, against medical advice show is essentially against the machine, and the whole idea of that, you know what I mean? This whole independent psyop bullshit, excuse my French, that uh, is truly the machine. It's like, I feel like we can like communicating through this is uh, the most normal form today, as regardless if you want to accept it or not. Like, this is the level of what communication is. Outside of that, and its physicality, it gets less intimate, it gets odd. And intimate doesn't have to be sexual, but you know what I mean.
No, it's there's definitely non-sexual intimacy.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like that's far and few between because of the tech, because she liked your pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a handwritten sentiment is handwritten letters probably more intimate than a text or a chat, and that comes through obviously in the way that people craft it. And then us having face and audio and stuff is more intimate, more communicative information than a text or whatever.
Correct, 100%. And it's like, yeah, and I mean, it's beautiful. I prefer it, like, because it's a glorious thing in the whole matrix aspect, one of those good things about it. But when it becomes like the priority or the normality, you know what I mean? Just because of its simplicity, that's where, the lazy, especially, I think the lazy human nature is like, oh yeah, this is great. But, it minimizes, it has, like, there's, cause and effect, domino effect. Not to go open down, that can of worms, but yeah, 100%.
What's going on with the Against Medical Advice show? I haven't been able to keep up with all the different online things for a while.
As I was like aiming for a date and, started developing content for it, it started becoming a little much. It was bigger than sitting in front like I am here and being like, hey, welcome today, where, this is the Against Medical Advice show. Like, as an artist myself, I also want to approach this avenue of podcasting and, into another level. Like, yes, we can still do this, but let's formulate it in a different option. You know what I mean? Or not, like, because it is like this. So with that being said, started to do that, like content being read in, even filmed hours in front of the screen, just past this. But as we were doing some photo shoots for it, I was like, oh, this could be easily a little bit better. Like, you know what I mean? So as we did that, there has been smaller delays in dropping said episodes.
Yeah, your pilot.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. Again, I do.
Is it going to be more of a podcast, long form, spoken word stuff, or is it going to be like a show with different clips and skits? And what's the vision for it?
You see, the skit clipping possibly via. Yeah, it's a 30-minute show with propaganda and like, propaganda like fluttered through it, making it an hour-long show. You know what I mean? And I just, that silly concept of like during your show, you drop your own commercial type thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, that's kind of where that developed, and as it just also work, family, this other, like, there was like, a crossroad that I was meeting with which all, like, just with everything going on, which made me push forward and start the concept, idea, and soon to be legitimized avenue of the Eastern Orthodox nationalists, right?
Okay, because you've made two different. Are those two different vectors, or how do they
EON and EON and AMA are different. Like, you know what I mean? That's just like podcast versus physicality. Like this is in world. Like you got AMA, the Matrix. You got EON, the reality. You know what I mean? And that's the aspect. I mean, and just the fact of the the principle behind it, and like will literally be is the motto to it is like love thy neighbor as yourself. You know what I mean? And knowing the system, being like become successful in the system, I know what the system doesn't like. You know what I mean? And that one being said is unity. Unity together, whether it be on paper or orchestrating together. You know what I mean?
How deep does that go? Because your mind immediately goes to, all the politics and everything, all the rage bait that the social medias promote. They show you something that gets you angry, so that's just rage baiting and trying to polarize people. How far further does it go to that? From that,
financial. I mean, your entire life, my friends and family that we're talking to, it goes into this financial realm. It goes into the educational realm. It goes into your entire life. When it goes into your 401k realm. You know what I mean? Again, these are, you know what I mean? It is the independence is indoctrinated for a reason. And that reason is with power, yes, of course, Spider-Man comes great responsibility, but, with that and the control of, and it being accountable, and said truly to the church and its Lord would be the goal, is the avenue. That's it. You know what I mean? In that aspect, but, comes simplicity on numbers. You know what I'm saying? A 30-year fixed mortgage you want it to have for you and your family, that hopefully at 65, when if God willing, you're getting ready to retire, it's almost paid off. If not, you paid it off years prior. Just hours invested into an auto pay system of when that can together be done in a year.
Yeah, I think about that in even like small things that come up. So you get invited to, I mean, there's weeks where I get invited to like 6 different kids' birthday parties from my parish, and I go, and some of the people, spend probably $500 on the decorations and renting out a space for a trampoline park or whatever it is, and it's like $50 for a kid or whatever. Ice skating rink is still like $20, and there's all the decorations, all the cake, and then all the presents are just plastic that was $50 that they're going to forget about within 6 months. If I'm optimistic, like,
right.
How much did we all spend on this? Was this $1,000 for us to come eat some sugar and like look at Bluey? Incredible. When we see Bluey everywhere already? What if we like put that money to like everybody going on a trip together, or putting it into this kid's college fund or something? Like, wouldn't things be, and now you pay for the, your fifth, you've got 5 kids, you pay for all their birthdays, and then now things are a little bit tighter or whatever. It's different for each person, but I look at that kind of thing. Like, couldn't we just, what if we like all got together and like had a conversation of what to do better? Like actually use our finances to do something instead of just, this is what you do. Because the kids are not, if you brought everybody to the backyard, they're not going to care. Like, they had fun with their friends.
And, when it comes down to it, yeah, first, I mean, you're bringing the kids involved. I have two of them, right? I'm so apprehensive for their interaction with the general public and the other kids, not because I don't want, because I have a set passion for people, you know what I mean? But God knows if they're implemented, chipped by the Matrix. That being said, a tablet baby, you know what I mean, running riot, and
then you have one of my goddaughters, who's like 6 years old, just walks up to somebody she doesn't know. She's like, "Did you know the Jews killed our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?"
Phenomenal. Yeah, exactly. I mean, history is beautiful, and facts are facts, and I love that. But TV and all that. All that being said, having a said community already established, knowing we go to the same church, answer to the same Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and, you know, our spirit, like, you know, environment, live in the same environment, slowly consume the environment, because as we work together, we grow together. You know what I mean? And if it's at a level of true community, like thrive together. Like my friend, I'm not speaking Joel Osteen. I'm speaking simplistic mathematics, friend. Right? I'm talking about like, well, you know what I mean? Uncomfortable. Like, yeah, it really doesn't make me look like J.P. Morgan's gonna think, or dad and boomer ass mom are gonna think I'm like the most independent, because their pea brains are stuck in the moment, right? They're mad at you because your kids aren't wearing socks, but they only visit you like once a year. So it doesn't really matter, right? What the boomers made, if you look around, does not work out. A lot of their family units, God willing, if they speak to each other, right? Politically stand at the same place. And if your family does, it is truly a blessing, because the system has implemented such vague differences in and then the true independent system. And then, you know what I mean? And, you know, and men have become feminized. Like, yeah, dude, I'm a pretty boy, but like, you know what I mean? At the same time, I provide, I lead my family to the church, right? And I've had plenty of fights of the day and today, you know what I mean? And I've been there, done that. So, right, this all this whole like what masculinity is, it's like, yeah, you say that, meanwhile, right? You know, somebody's in their mom's apartment, of not partaking in the Eucharist, all that jazz. And I'm not going to go down that road, because God bless them. I truly want to, like, you know, sharing is caring. That's being said. The fork in the road where I was met, you know, and we can talk about nationalism, and we can talk about, you know, the reason behind like the Eastern Orthodox / nationalism, right? We know what nationalism is, right? A lot of people don't. They think, oh, right away, like, you know, Nazi white power pride, you know, but that's not what's going on here. This is Eastern Orthodoxy as your belief in faith and system, grounded
as the state
in
religion.
Exactly, as its grounding principle, and being proud and holding firm to your environment, to the blessed country we were born in or live in now, and, you know, and hold firm to its beliefs. And you know what I mean? And that's, you know, and that's, and in its simplicity, to that, you know, like I said, from there, like, and what I have is, again, like essentially a second mansion. You know, back in the 70s, it was turned into 7 different apartments. But can be much more. You know, you've seen the pictures, right, of like the generated stuff. It's a gorgeous little lighthouse. And I pay, you know, utilities. I call it the world's biggest garage for a lawnmower. You know what I mean? Now, the fork in the road that I was met at, my friend, gentlemen, were, hey, let's, you know what I mean, take a little equity out and turn the apartments and get that thing running, right? You know what I mean? Turn it into the machine. But, right, my idea is to be against the machine, to be free. The principle behind it is like, at best, like, you know what I'm saying? You have to be accountable to the church as a unit, right? Strictly. And work part-time, and then add to the said compound we're in, right? That's it. And spend time with your family. Like,
so who is your target demographic? Because I might have like a vague idea, or like, oh, it could be this or that with what you're envisioning with EON, Eastern Orthodox nationalism. Right. So you have a mansion with 7 apartments. Is your idea to get young single men in there, get them productive, get them more integrated into the community, or is that?
I mean, it's at a state where it can be semi-altered, right? You know, I mean, you could have one of them, a single young man who wants to like start this, you know, find an Orthodox church, but you know, of course, like, or that is already based in the EO area or understands its concept.
So would they be paying like, you know, under market rent to help keep it up, and then
like a portion of, like there would be the true thing is like it's like for me, it's completely owned. Like I'm not trying to get you to pay my mortgage. You know what I mean?
Just like like
yeah.
I don't know if it depends, because I've been in parts of not communes, but like a dozen families, whatever, getting together. I've been a part of those things for a few months at most. Where there's kind of a system going. You're just kind of brought into the system. They've got all the food, and maybe they get donations for stuff, and we go out and do volunteer work or whatever, Protestantism stuff.
Well, essentially, it's like, you know what I mean? I don't like that. I wouldn't even be opposed of because like building a small Orthodox church in my front yard, you know what I mean? Or consuming one of these small, unfortunately, God bless them, buying Protestant or, off branches that are around here on every corner of the street. You know what I mean? By the grace of God, our strongest church here, which is active, and my beautiful hourly bell is a Sacred Heart. You know what I mean? Catholic church, but their presence is strong. But I stay on them with the hourly bell if I need to put money into it or not. But that I love that going on. And I said it was like I called them. We've talked multiple times. I've been like, I live right up I own the mansion right up the hill, and I need that. Like that bell's not gone off every hour. Like what's going on? How do we fix that?
Stevie's wearing the last person that tried to debate him on his head.
Yeah. Right.
It was a very hairy man.
Right. It was actually a female. Surprise.
Oh.
Surprise. You never know today, right?
Yeah, no one's safe under Orthodox nationalism. That's if you say anything to somebody who's like center left, far left about nationalism, it's immediately like you want to kill people, you want a Holocaust, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And and it's ignorance. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna argue with it because I'm like, dude, its definition itself. Like someone literally just commented on that post about like Eastern Orthodox nationalist or nationalism headquarters, and he was like, if you can't put nationalist and headquarters, it's an oxymoron. And it's like, absolutely not.
And headquarters?
Huh?
Headquarters in nationalism?
Yeah. Well, no. Orthodox Christian in nationalism.
Oh. I mean,
yeah. I mean, do you think it's a complete, tell me your thoughts on it?
I mean, I like fascism, nationalism, what do you want to call it? I would say that my biggest
nationalism, I think, are two different things, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think there are, maybe a Venn diagram there, but nationalism, my only problem with it is that it's too far left. That's not right enough, right?
And what's
because the ideal would be monarchy, would be symphonia. So like fascism, where there's a supreme leader, or there's ethno-nationalism, whatever it is, it's blood and soil, trying to return back to roots. I think that is like a stepping stone back to an actual conservative paradigm. It's not all the way there, but it is going from far left, like stepping to the right.
Right.
So it might be a necessary step, but people now say Christian populism, right? Christian populism seems to be more appropriate, with the idea just to organically have the majority be gone. Nationalism has too many preconceptions. Yeah, so it might be a branding thing. So
I did. You know what? I love both what you said, because the wifey said something too, and I'm like, defensive. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Behind me. So you know what I mean.
Well, even like the Zig Heil, that was that's an ancient salute. That's a Roman salute.
And
America had its own version of it, where it would be
our flag like that. It's called the Bellamy salute.
Yeah,
and until the war, that's how we said the pledge allegiance to the flag. So if anybody wants to be historical, I mean, school kid, you can find pictures all over the internet. It's called the Bellamy salute. And from 1870 to 1940, through the entire World War II, we still were saluting the kids in school. we're still doing this. And right now, one of the people in chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Swear to you. Swear to you. So it's like, come on, dude, we've been so propaganda, like it's so much propaganda, dude. Like, you know what I mean? What was it? Saint Nick was before him and his family in the basement. Like, you know what I mean? It is like, you know what I mean?
So
And then like,
Jude's asking what country. We're both Americans, so we're talking about Orthodox Christian American Orthodox Christian nationalism,
yeah.
populism, whatever you want to call it.
Excuse the Eastern Western Orthodoxy. I am Slavic, Russian by trade.
By trade.
Yeah, right. But I mean, we're far immigrants. You know what I mean? We all got like a majority of my family died martyrs to Stalin and his brigade before they fled to Argentina. So that's the truth. And you know, and unfortunately, God bless their souls. You know that, and I didn't know things about Orthodoxy. Well, how could I? The children were the ones that fled and created my parents.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bolsheviks explicitly were trying to uproot the people of their nation from their heritage. That was their main pursuit.
Right. So when they fled, you know, that lukewarm Protestantism got them. I'm kidding. God bless it. I'm so silly. But no, for real, truly blessed them. But yeah, so you know what I mean. When it comes down to it, that's where ideally, you know, practicing Eastern Orthodox faith and being baptized or dedicated to the church. What is it called? Dedicated, but
Chrismated? Yeah,
chrismated to the church. And answer before it and be an active member, meeting, you know, all, you know, criteria with that. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? The property's a 2.5 acre property. You know, I mean, it's not much.
So let's say 10 years down the line, what's the vision? Would you want to have multiple properties throughout?
Oh yeah, consume these houses. Some of them to be lots because the house is just, you know, not in a place to, you know, invest in. And again, I live in you know, the West PA area. You know, we have a lot of monasteries out here, a lot of them growing, moving. So, you know, this is an area, you know, of growth and orthodoxy. One of our dear friends, just him and his monastery, moved out here. Who we've known through the study of stuff, Eastern Pilgrim. So that's cool. Yeah, man, it's just like, you know, it's really, bro, it's the same God, like, you know, it's bringing the church, like, we're enlightening the church, right? And we don't, the easiest way, the saint once said, and God forgive me for not remembering his name, but essentially that, so we're enlightening, you know what I mean, the world. Like, so the way we don't judge the world is to think that they're, you know, that they're like not confused, but like they're just not like enlightened yet. So they're like, they're lost, right? They're lost, right? So like to be like, oh, how dare they do that? Or like, I can't, you know, like they haven't been taught yet. They haven't been enlightened. So instead of judging them, like, have compassion and like almost pity that they don't have the joy of the Lord and like the warm embrace of the Theotokos, like, and, you know, something like a family of the parish. But that being said, especially, is building, like, bringing that parish family and principles into the world and in a congregated environment, right? Where that itself can either be, whichever way you look at it, an antibody or a virus. And again, with teamwork, I know the system, mind you, I'm living in a mansion and I have one to spare. The system will be easily taught and given. And like, again, like we will consume the environment. Like it's not forever, oh, this apartment in, you know what I mean, said carriage house. You know, it's like, again, and you know, we're not putting like, God bless it, you know what I mean?
So I had you wanted to have this conversation, and I said you got to read For My Legionaries by Condrinu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. So did you get to the part with him establishing nests throughout Romania?
No.
Okay, because that's what my mind goes to with you having this. Is he, he started as a university student, seeing that the Jews were de-Christianizing, secularizing the universities. They were trying to make it where they couldn't do liturgies.
I was literally right there. I was literally right there in the book. I like, dude, just because who I am, and a quick pause because I love this. I love so far what we talked about in that book. But I had to order like the cool version of the book. So it took a little longer. So I started, doing audio tape on YouTube. So I literally got to this point, what you're talking about, like up to this point, and you're enlightening me from then on.
Yeah. So well, you might have to have a second conversation when you get through it because it's going to have a lot to think about. But he started essentially as a university student, and then he had different universities, virile, high vitality young men kind of lead the charge. And then they found different professors and different older men to help step in and organize, do different things, and with varying successes and losses. And then they had a lot of problems with they'd have a big success, and then they wouldn't like capitalize it. Like we gotta keep moving. So there was, they allowed their successes not to get more successes. They had okay, we feel like the day is saved, and then next year it is way worse because they see that we're serious, but we didn't just take and keep it going. The stuff like that, and then eventually, and then their organization gets dissolved by the government, multiple times, and he reestablishes it. And their model essentially is they would have nests, is what they'd call it, of 5 to 10 young men that were in a city, in a town, and they would hold each other accountable, be strict, are you fasting, are you praying, are you living the Christian life, and then they would help each other go out in their community. But that was like the unit, that was like the family unit of the whole fascist organization in Romania. Was the base layer is just the nests. So what you're doing,
my page was acting up, being weird.
I got you. So what I'm saying is that your idea here sounds almost like you're trying to start a nest.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, dude, absolutely. And I've talked to a couple of fathers, spiritual fathers, and people in part active in the Orthodox churches. And yeah, like, dude, ideally a blueprint, you know what I mean? Ideally a blueprint. Like, again, I've had many of the options, I even thought of donating it into a monastery church, right? I talked to a couple people, and I've been, this is truly something I've prayed about. Like, this was like something, again, that this is out of pocket experience right now. Like, just owning it and keeping the lights on, you know what I mean, is a monthly expense that I've now done for 3.5 years. You know what I mean? Like, this is, it's not about getting someone in there rapidly.
No,
I
would think that if you had them paying rent or dues, that part of that would be going to a nest egg to start the next chapter, right?
Right, exactly. Or, you know what I mean? Something right across the street, a fraction of the cost for the growth and just for the room for something more serious, as in like a bigger family, right? That still wants to have those free low head under costs, right? Like, and I don't mean free, but again, the 40 hours a week is to kill the man, right? If they can take the man, then they can grab the family. And now they're trying one way or another. While you're at work, your wifey is on screen on the thing, you know what I mean?
Or she is exhausted, so she throws on some kids show that she doesn't realize is propaganda or whatever it is.
And it's so sneaky nowadays, God forbid. It's just so sneaky, and so you're like, what did that cartoon just say? What are we watching? So anyhow, you know, it's just like, again, also it's like I said, there's a lot of uncensored children out here. God bless them. You know, they're like uncensored and unvisioned, like unwatched, and they're given these mechanisms, right, at an early age, and it's all a free for all. You know what I mean? And you know, that's a rabbit hole in itself for a little mind that the world is brand new to. Like that's excessive, right? That's incredible. The thought is incredible, you know. So again, it's about like, so if you hit the financial level and of, or the idea of the finances, you know, that kills the man and is like it's a factor of control, right? So the time that if they can, because the capital is all based materialism, and if the capital is based all on your materialism, then you have no room for spirituality, right? So you're consuming, and like what you're producing is consuming, because you're consuming your environment, whether that be food, what you wanted, your house bills, power, you know, and they set the system up like that. Also leaving the man defeated, exhausted, where he can't be leading and guiding his family. I know this because I firsthand experienced it purposely. So, you know, it's just like that part of the system's broken to us, generic, so to speak. And but then also, like, you know, they've eradicated God and tried to continuously with actions and itself. And yeah, like we have these little like, oh yeah, hooray, Trump's a super Christian. Like I don't even want to hear it. You know, I just don't. The fact of the matter is, like, you know, I'm not, that's the fact. Like I'm tired of complaining about these high politics. Like I want to be the change I want to see in the world. One of the biggest parts of not becoming a parent, so to speak, to other people is to know that they practice or are enveloped in the Orthodox Church. You know what I mean? That being said, I know that, you know what I mean, by like they're a man of the word, and like isn't are held to a simplistic 20 hours a week of just some type of income source for an individual. The rest frees up everything. You know, there will be a couple little organized things. Of course, we'll talk throughout the community. And again, this is a temporary thing, but you know, like bring the carriage house up. I mean, up, like clean it up, make it even better, each room better. You know what I mean? People will be living nice. This is not no shack we're speaking. And the idea will be that, like across the street, you know, the more the merrier. It's a safe environment, safe neighborhood.
And I think young men, one of the biggest things they need is just to be told what to do. Just like like if they're an aimless young man who's got all this energy and they don't know what to do, where to go, just be like, this is a good thing, go that direction. I think that's very helpful for them. Obviously, there's mentorship and obedience to a spiritual father, all that stuff. But I mean, I know what it's like to be 22 and like, I don't even know. I'm just kind of hanging out. I don't know what to do, where to go.
Right. I mean, dude, it's like, when you become, and nobody's teaching nobody finances, nobody's doing any of that nonsense. So, you know, you become a young adult and it's like, all right, well, now I have to get 40 hours a week. You know what I mean? I'm still on Dodge insurance, but like, it's making me pay my phone bill.
And I turned my boomer mom was like, well, I'm done being your mom. I'm not your parenting anymore. You pay me rent, you get out. And then there was like no communication or advice. I couldn't go to them with it, whatever, you know.
My dad had a little compassion because I was a junkie. So like in and out, I was able to stay with them. But my mom and essentially dad was like, yep, oh, you're 18. No emotional accountability. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was, yeah. I mean, I moved out and lived with my girlfriend at like 14, 15.
I think another thing your nest could give is like an initiation ritual. That's another thing that's by and large lost in our culture is a young man coming up and being initiated into manhood.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just usually like
Well, no, dude,
I'm
hopefully-
bigger, maybe I'm playing
the
football or
church
whatever,
does-
and I mean, there's no like now you're a man. There's no strict transition from boy to man.
Right. The beauty of it, though, is that the church does that. And this is not like, this is what's so funny about the principle of this whole concept. It's not rare. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of us struggling with overhead and it consuming, like, and working a dead end job and see, like, really, like, just getting by and being like, oh man, I'm exhausted, but yeah, I'll crawl to liturgy. Like, you know, this is yeah, this guy's hating. I know. I'm sorry, McGibbs. I'm sorry that I upset you, buddy. Like my outfit, right? I'm sure you're at home by yourself or somewhere, right? Anyhow, God bless you, my child. Yeah, we you know what I'm saying? We just the principle is cleaning, like stopping that, like being free. You know what I mean? Freeing other people, and then also like enlightening them and teaching them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, and it's so, bro, it's so indoctrinated that it's hit like, you know, my bloodline's riddled with it. You know what I mean? Trust
The
me.
boomer pull yourself up from the bootstraps mentality. Just go work harder.
Yeah, and I mean, just the concept of independence. God forbid I talk about working together. You know what I mean? Or having like working on building, like, because again, a big thing that we've killed is like legacy. You know what I'm saying? And then with legacy, you know, that establishes like, oh, our deep-rooted faith, like our deep-rooted beliefs. You know what I mean? And whatnot, but nobody teaches us that. Especially, I mean, you grew up in a Protestant church too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up kind of Southern Baptist, non-denominational. My oldest brother got really sick when I was 7, so at that point, I mean, my family was like totally in tatters. We went from having family dinners to like everybody's locked in the rooms trying to survive because my brother's there, mentally ill, screaming and trying to hurt us. All that stuff. I told the story, but by the time I'm like 10, I hadn't gone to church in a couple of years. And by 13, 14, I was like, Mom, can you drop me off at church? You can pick me up later. I want to go.
Wow.
So, you know, by 13, 14, 15, I'm the only one in my 6-person family unit that's going to church.
So how did that work out? Like, how long were you doing that for?
I mean, I grew up, you know, from late middle school and high school, in the youth group, and then I was kind of groomed to be a youth pastor. So I was going to different conferences and did a bunch of different.
Groomed to be a youth.
Kinda. I mean, because I had the personality. I'm good with people. There's always opportunities to volunteer with the middle school, and they want to get you plugged in, right? So
Right.
they saw that I'm a good public speaker, that I work well with kids, and I'm fun. I can play the games. I can do all this stuff. I can have the deep conversations. They were having me lead small groups.
Pastor Westford, I like that.
And the furthest that got, I got offered a job to move out to Michigan for I just lost it. It's what was that big? You'd recognize his name. I can't think of his name all of a sudden, but it's this big mega pastor dude from like the 70s or whatever, who like led all these like revival rallies. He had an organization, and he had like
Billy Graham?
Yeah, Billy Graham. It was Billy Graham's organization. And I got offered to be like the manager over 5 different chapters in Michigan. So it'd have been like 5 para church organizations. All the middle school, high schoolers get together, you know, once or twice a week. I would have been the leaders of those would have had to answer to me. So that was the furthest I got. I didn't accept it because like I don't think that's enough money to move out to Michigan. I don't know nobody in Michigan.
You know, dude, we all pass up opportunities, and so wait. So after that, so what? And I know that the topic is like, you know, this concept, and not just like my personal concept, but in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's your instantiation, what you're doing, which I mean, even that, and then there's, you know, I'm fine with going wherever if we want to go on tangential, my life, your life, bringing us up to speed on different stuff. But I mean, there is like what you're doing here. You have You know, I would call this probably propaganda, or what, you have these different visuals here, and you're obviously trying to evoke something. And I would say in my mind, there's two different, oh my gosh, this one, like two main routes you'd want to go with propaganda. You either want to be like, we're extreme, or we're trying to push the Overton window, or you are extreme and you're trying to say, no, I'm a centrist. My ideas aren't extreme, and you're trying to bring the left side of the Overton. You're trying to bring the center closer, or you're trying to push people further to the right, whatever. Those are the
and that's
two main
the weird
routes.
thing too, dude. It's like that right and left thing. It's like, dude, in God we trust, yes, but in Jesus Christ, our God, we trust. Like, you know what I mean? Like, thou is a lot of these people's God. Like,
right. Well, the vague God of the Enlightenment, of the Freemasons, of the U.S. Constitution, like that God, whatever you plug into there is not sufficient, right?
Right. Enough is that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, also like proper etiquette, like, you know, I mean, just common etiquette. Like, how did we lose that, where we have imbeciles like Mick Gibbs being upset, like he's like, oh, he's a twink because I can like compose myself, and I own a mansion and he lives in his mom's basement. Like, you know, how is that where people do stuff like that? You know what I mean? And it's hysterical. But anyways, like, how can proper etiquette come off that way? People need a little bit more to be a little bit more reformed and refined in general. So. Yeah,
I mean, lots of different reasons for that top-down propaganda, the different cultures of the 90s, the gangster culture, all the different
propaganda,
all the different things.
Imperative in today. Like, it's just like, again, against the machine. Like, there's so much propaganda that the machine is pushing out.
So what I was saying, like, with those two different lines of thoughts, this would be like we're scaring the hose. All the people in the center are going to see this and think Holocaust.
Which one? The first three cross one?
I mean, just seeing this and seeing, like, I saw on your profile, you had like a Hitler with a bunch of like Orthodox cross. Like, people are going to see that and have an emotional reaction, right?
And it wasn't Hitler. Well, again, my apologies, Mick Gibbs. I'm not gay. I have a wife and 2 kids. I'm sorry you don't like my aesthetic, dude.
I'm not gay, but I have gay friends, all right? I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm sorry. And I don't know who Wes Anderson is.
I think he's like a prot. Wait, Wes Anderson? Oh no, he's a filmmaker.
No, yeah. Well, I don't know him, Mr. Gibbs, and I really don't know you either. But yeah, just to clarify, you know, whatever, like, you know, my offense to you, I apologize, and God bless. I get caught up in the moment and I respond ill. And my mannerisms do offend a lot of people, and I really, it sucks.
Okay, so you were asking me about my upbringing in Protestantism. Like, where were you trying to lead? Where were you trying to lead me there?
You did solo dolo, because like you just wanted to go back to church. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was social. Like, I had somebody that invited me, so I was like, okay, sure, I'll go. And then I started getting more plugged in or whatever. I saw the benefits of having those friends instead of just my atheist, secular middle school friends or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and then I mean, from there was scandal, and I got scandalized. I left the church for like 2 years, and was kind of like adrift, unmoored, going more liberal. Never went crazy far. I probably, especially today, the Overton window where it is.
You think? I mean, today's a different breed. Like, it's very, very liberated.
Yeah, well, it's all accelerated since like 2015.
Right.
So I don't know if Trump was just the catalyst or whatever, but that is a big turning point. From stuff just got like stretched. It got stretched.
Really vague. You're right. Really vague. So then, what brought you to Orthodox? And how did that?
So I was in my Southern Baptist church, and there was like the scandal. So my mom came to me and said, I heard that you're gay. And I'm like, what? What the heck? So she'd heard like from my church that I was going to, like, there was a rumor that I was a homosexual because I had guy friends. I don't know where it came from, whatever, but I was like, she's like crying, breaking down, saying I'm like a horrible mother. And my little brother is named, his middle name is my uncle. I never met. He committed suicide like, a decade before I was born. He was a homosexual. And my mom was like, I should have never let your father name him after that faggot, all those things. So I was like, whoa, hey, like, so that was the catalyst for me to become more liberal, because it was put me in this place of like, if I was gay, like, what would I be experiencing right now? I'd be on the street. Like, Mom, I don't even know how to, like, I'm not gay. I don't know how to like prove that to you right now. I'm just kind of watching you break down. I'm not sure what to do. So that was me going left and then starting like having more druggy friends and things like that.
I mean, dude, I think it's like that level of like just arrogant, ignorant judgment out of based assumptions or observations. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh man, he's not like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Truly.
I don't know. That was just what happened. And I did LSD because I was listening to a Protestant podcast and I was talking about the benefits of it. It makes you more empathetic, makes you more able to love your neighbor and all this stuff. I was like, okay, sure. So I did LSD. I smoked weed for like a summer. And then eventually after that, I like got to like a breaking point where things got like, I was in a really bad spot. And then I started trying to piece myself back together. And then I started trying to, I just started rejecting all this like conservative Republican stuff that I was brought up with. And I just saw something, I experienced something that was like, I felt really negative, whatever. So I just kind of rejected that and started searching, like, let me come back to this and see let me actually be critical instead of emotional and empathetic, whatever. So I started watching Gavin McInnes and Louder with Crowder and Ben Shapiro and started becoming more normie conservative. That's like late 2017, 2018. And then my brother-in-law now, he wasn't my brother-in-law then, but he invited me to see Jordan Peterson. I never heard of him. So we saw him give a talk. And I bought his books. I read his books. He talked about Dostoevsky all the time. So I bought all the Dostoevsky books, read those, and was like, Christian monasteries and monks and like there's these miracles and relics. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. And then I started watching Peugeot for like a year. And then my mother-in-law was like, I'm just going to go to a parish. You guys have been talking about it. I'm just going to go. So she went for like a few weeks and invited us. And then COVID happened. So I was an inquirer.
Your mother-in-law was like.
Yeah, she was the one. I was like kind of in my head, like learning about it and trying to like smorgasbord, like, oh, like this essence energy thing. That makes sense. Let me just kind of put that on my plate.
Yeah.
And then, my mother-in-law was going for a little bit and then invited us. And then I remember getting in the communion line and the Matushka came up and was like, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm a Christian. Like, what are you saying? I'm not a Christian. And then COVID happens and everything shuts down. I'm on online catechism for like 7 months and I'm just getting my my paradigm totally smashed. I was debating so hard with the parish priest there. Father John, shout out to him. He's a legend. Oh, you just got the notification? Man.
Wait,
but yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I love Father John. It was a hard time to be an inquirer because I'd like try to come to him with all the COVID stuff. Like I see through this. This is my perspective. Like I can show you my receipts.
What Father John? What Father John?
Well, I don't know if I want to say because I'm saying things that are.
Yeah.
I love him. He's a great man. I've talked to dozens and dozens of people that know him and have known him for 20 plus years and seen all the fruit of his labors. When I came in, he's about to retire. You can tell he's a little bit tired. And then this COVID things happen. And his bishops are saying, lock everything down. Don't let people venerate, do multiple spoons. You can only have like 20 people in the parish. You have the social distance, all this stuff. So I'm being taught in catechism that this is the body and blood of Christ. You cannot get sick by disease from it. And then a month later, this is the body and blood of Christ. You might get sick. So let's use multiple spoons. And I'm like, I have questions because you convinced me of this, and now I don't see that playing out.
Oh.
And it was just more like, well, do you want to kill grandma? I don't understand. He wouldn't. He didn't understand any of the concerns of somebody who wasn't on board with COVID. He was like, this is just what they're telling us to do. I don't understand. Like, why do you have a problem with this? So he just didn't empathize at all with the struggle my family was in. Seeing through all that, and then seeing Yeah, it was the double speak that we were dealing with, and seeing the tradition we were like becoming familiar with and being convinced of, and seeing it just decimated by all this government overreach and all that.
Right,
So we're
you're
like, this
talking
is
about, like,
this is not how things are supposed to be, clearly, and we're the new people here saying this shouldn't be so, and they're like, what's the big deal? So that was tough. I haven't talked to him in years, so I don't know how he reflects on all of that. But
well, bless you for that. That's a tough position to be in.
yeah,
Especially
yeah. I mean, I've talked to people now that are catechumen. Like, if I showed up to a parish like right before COVID and during COVID, I don't think I'd stick around.
Right, dude. And it's like, I'm surprised. I mean, I was anti-government then too. Like, I was like, the minute they were like, don't move around, I was like, first flight out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going I went to multiple states. I was taking beautiful first class Boeing 707s by myself. It was so much fun, and at like pennies of a dollar. I never got COVID. There was one time I did get COVID, and beneficially, I was, got paid for 2 weeks of doing nothing because they said I had COVID. So God bless you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yep. Same. I mean, there was ultimatums for us because we had a smaller parish that was like a refurbished barn. And I mean, with the social distancing, there's like 100 people there or something, and they're only allowed to have like 30.
Wow.
And we are, 6 months into inquiring, we're not catechumen. If we show up on a Sunday, now they're finally opening it up where we can have 30 people in. We're going, okay, if we come, we are keeping Christians from the Eucharist. So is it better for us not to come, or is it better for us to bar people from the Eucharist? I don't know the answer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was a tough decision to make, and it was. I thought it was quite obvious, and I was in, like, I wouldn't even say any type of Christian format in that position, but I was very anti-government, very like skeptical. You know what I mean? Of like, it's.
See, I was becoming like normie conservative for like a year, and then COVID happened, or like maybe 2 years. So I hear like, oh yeah, they're closing things down, they're canceling events, you're not allowed to meet with people. I'm like, oh, they can't do that. Right to assembly. What are you talking? They cannot do that. And then it happens, and everybody's doing it. I'm like, but they can't do that. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's so funny. That's too funny.
I heard a theory that hello Marilyn, how you doing? Is a really funny theory that Marilyn is Ryan Remembers. Do you know Ryan Remembers, Stevie?
No, wait. Who?
Okay.
Okay.
If you don't know, it's for the chat for them to go on about it. But I thought that was really funny. Okay, so Orthodox nationalism, got my backstory, and then the part of that is I started listening to Jay Dyer, and it was I don't know if you know you're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. That debate with Matt Slick and Father Deacon Dr. Ananias. That was my first. That was my first time hearing anything from Father Deacon Ananias and Jay Dyer, because there's this debate. I'm listening to all these debates now that I'm 6 months into catechism, and all of a sudden I hear Jay Dyer just pop in. This voice from the ether is like, "It's because you're a schismatic. It's because you don't have any saints. Your church is fake." And I'm like, who is this dude? I don't know. So I started listening to him, and he's talking about monarchy, and that was another, because I had been like unmoored, and I started clinging to my republic, my constitution. And then I'm hearing this, and I'm now becoming Orthodox, and I hear this Orthodox guy like, "Oh yeah, that's not compatible with Orthodoxy," and I'm like, "Oh, that's another like paradigm shift. I have to let go of this thing that I was clinging to get back to sanity."
And I do, and you know what? Maybe there is certain small contradictions in nationalism and orthodoxy, and I would be, you know what I mean. Like, I do want to clarify, like, not every principle, but the conceptual principle behind it. You know what I mean? It's just like, you guys made Judeo-Christian work for so long.
That's true.
Like, come on, like, it looks like pretty much like Judeo-Christian worked out really, really well.
Well, that's
half of your parents are sold on it, so.
I mean, it's probably been part of their playbook for a while, is No, we're on your side because we can like, oh, you conservatives, we like the Constitution and guns and freedom of speech and all that stuff. That like you watch PragerU or Ben Shapiro, they will try to be white. They'll try to be conservative and get the normal Protestant evangelical people on board with them until you ask certain questions, and then the facade breaks down. Like, did you hear Ben Shapiro saying that he's not white? Well, it depends on the context. Because somebody was like, "Don't you have white privilege, Ben?" He's like, "No, of course not. You're not white." Well, it depends. It depends when I need to be white. I can be white when it's beneficial.
He is so yeah, and they all can, and it's again that's like you know what that's not like a race thing because that is not a race thing. Jewish is a belief thing, I believe. Like there's Middle Eastern, you know what I'm saying? There are tribes of Abraham, you know what I mean? But this conceptual thing. Now, somebody from the Middle East, an Israelite, so to speak, not a Jewish person, like not a Jew, if they are in, like if they believe in the Torah or they believe in the Talmud, like we have indifferences.
It's incompatible.
Like yeah, like severe and like but still severe, like you still in the Torah still think you still killed my God and you still think he's not your Messiah.
Is pornography being free, public, available, legal, is that compatible with Orthodox Christian nationalism?
No.
So Dennis Prager said there's nothing wrong with pornography. That's not sin because he is a Jew. He just like it's about your actions. So if you had sex with this prostitute outside of marriage, all that, then that's sin.
Yeah,
but
right.
There's like just because I'm fantasizing about this, I'm in my soul and my spirit, which I don't even know how much they believe in like that stuff because a lot of them don't believe in demons and things or angels even. So yeah, when Christ says when you look on a woman with lust,
right,
he's like, no, that doesn't matter.
You know, and it's a crazy thing because there has been times. And I won't speak to secrecy of like confession, but there has been times that it was like the lack of action upon the thought, you know, it was not a sin itself, was what I was told in certain predicaments, and God bless it. You know what I mean? Now it hasn't been about like masturbation or pornography. Those are not one of my demons. I used to deal with drugs really, really hard. Like fight really, really hard about that. And yeah, but God bless it. It just, yeah, it definitely does not. Point.
So how do you, going back to nationalism, what is the roadmap in your mind from where America is now to whatever the vision is?
Okay, well, their vision is like they're about to implement like very total control within the next like 3 years. Truly, is like what it is, and it has to be like you know a congregational community independence. Like the Amish have it pretty right. Nobody's gonna be living Amish. It's okay, but it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like the best time to grow a tree is now. You know what I mean? 2 years down the road when you're trying to figure it out, nowhere close to paying that 30-year fixed. It's like, you're like also the 401k thing is a cop. Like you're putting money into something that is truly not feasible by number choice. So you're like investing in people getting murdered in Gaza right now. Like
yep. Or even insurance, like if you're paying for insurance, you're funding abortion. Like you may be funding abortions, you don't even know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially with their like, especially with all their foundations that they support and whatnot. And now I'm not like, dude, it's so hilarious to say. It's like one of my very successful friends, we were at a party the other day, like a kind of like more of a ball. But he told his mom, looked at me, and you know, we had a couple people make a lot of assumptions earlier in the chat, but he looked at his mom and he's like, dude, he's one of the most like conservative, traditional guys you'll ever meet. And she was like blown away. And then I looked at her and I was like, get in the kitchen. No, I'm kidding.
So,
But yeah,
I mean, a common objection you'll get with Christian populism, nationalism is, I mean, depending on you'll get like the libertarian, Christianity, your religion there should be separation of church and state. Your religion shouldn't be dictating what other people do. I think that's a big one. It's going to be a big hurdle from all the Enlightenment.
but that's the funniest part
A Pentecostal guy. He's a really good friend. He's like pretty conservative, but he thinks that America's multipolar, secular society where people can do what have the freedom to be enslaved by sin. He's like, that's actually really godly because we're not forcing ourselves on anybody. We're allowing them to do all this stuff. I think that's what God wants us to do, is to allow this. I'm like, so God wants us to allow and promote and have, the fertile soil for degeneracy. That doesn't make any sense. So I think on like boots on the ground, what are the actual differences between like our current today's system and the future nationalist stepping stone to monarchy, and even in part of monarchy, is because we already have moral laws. That a law has to be based on morality. There's no law that's amoral. Right? It's all about human behavior. So it has to have moral framework. So it's just a different framework. Because right now we have, Enlightenment, natural law, secular, detached from Christ morality, which itself can't justify what morality is. So it's just making laws that are moral. So would you also say with that it'd be blasphemy laws, things like that? You're not allowed to spit on icons. You're not allowed to do these kind of things. They're going to limit some speech.
Right. And I'm here. Am I lagging or anything? Am I on point? Okay. But anyways, absolutely, there would be a code of conduct, of guidelines. Obviously, grown adults can be grown adults. You know what I mean? There's your standard United States of America morale standards, but there's a central Orthodox, just like Christian standards, right? Ones that aren't truly executed as much, yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, that's just where I'm at with it. It definitely would be.
Because right now we're in a system that's all based on rights, but when you press any of the people that believe in the Enlightenment idea of rights, of the Bill of Rights, they couldn't justify it, let alone even tell you what a right is. Like what is the ontology? What is the mode of being for a right? What does that exist? How is it not just a story we're making up?
So there's like, what I mean? There's a sense of reformation that needs to be done, because what's going on right now is not working out. And you can tell, you and anybody in the audience can tell me, is it like really working? Like, look around and then think, like, in the next 10 years, envision the next 10 years and your like maybe hopes and aspirations, and tell me, is it like really working out? You know what I mean? Like, is it like truly? Like, is it, even if it was going as today on repeat for 10 years, maybe a little bit better at a small percentage rate. You know what I mean? At a 3.75% ROI, you know what I mean? Like for the next 40 years of your life? Or are you willing, you know what I mean? Because all change is uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Are you willing to be uncomfortable for maybe a moment? And the uncomfortable is just mainly the movement and interaction. And if society today has made movement and interaction and accountability a problem or something to be scared of, you really have a real problem. And that's what I encourage you and lead you to the Orthodox Church, which is a hospital. And that's where that will play itself out. But when it comes to real life, when we walk away, when we take the Eucharist, when we walk away after community coffee downstairs. We get back to our 9 to 5s on Monday. You know, uh, like what is it? Like what? Like like what is it? Are we like are you stuck? Is this like do you accept it? Like do you accept independently paying satanic ball worshippers that are truly raping you financially in every aspect they can? Why they like caress your face and tell you like this new propaganda, which is like, a little bit of like, it'll be rough just so it'll get better. Like, gas prices are back raging and things are going to be super expensive. As we again, remember, you stated something about separating church and state. Meanwhile, we fight and support a religious war, a religion of Satan.
Right. There's no such thing as separation of church and state. It's just the question of which religion, which moral code is being enforced.
And it's like, and we are under the church of Satan. And so us Christians, regardless, and that's a big one too, my friend. I don't want to segregate, you know what I mean, to orthodoxy itself. I think Christianity, as in its entirety, needs to unite.
Okay, because this is another question. Are you talking about just orthodoxy, or are you talking about the more Christian populism? If you're a conservative Protestant, if you're a conservative Catholic, if you're Orthodox, like doing a power block together to try to move the needle, like banning abortion, gay rights, all these kind of stuff. Are you in favor of that power block moving towards that conservatism? Or are you talking about just because the ideal? That's why I'm saying like populism, nationalism may just be a stepping stone, especially in our environment, because there are certain things that we could align politically with Protestants and Catholics. There's a lot that we cannot. There are mutually exclusive things, but that doesn't mean we can all work together for to keep babies alive.
And this is, you know what I mean? So, and, a little bit of politics have been brought up in the chat a little bit. That being said, it really, that's where I was just based at. I was like, it's the healing starts from within, right? We go to the hospital and heal. Then we read our scripture, and our scripture talks about the church starting at home. And then I hit this block, and I'm like, well, let us build a church then. We have the space and the place. The only thing against me is the Jew and his conceptualism of materialism. And excuse me, when I mean that is the worshipers of Baal and the consumption, and the ones who have taught you to consume all your paycheck away or let them consume the rest of it. So those
you would agree that clearly Jews should not have political power, right?
Absolutely. An Israelite, yes. Like somebody born, yeah, but well, not here in the U.S. Absolutely not. There should not even my own father, who was not born in this country, should have political power in this country. Just point blank. I believe that 100%. You know what I mean? My mother was born here, but my father wasn't. But I wouldn't you know what I mean? I would absolutely say no. But I'm very proud, that being said, of nationalism of our country. So proud of its freedoms to sin, to you act so diabolical where I become the bad person.
Right. I think a lot of America's problems come from the American disposition to be so good-natured and good-willed, and like opening things up for these freedoms, and then all of those things get exploited and subverted and watered down.
Yeah, thanks, Martin Luther.
And Martin Luther King too. I mean, you can't.
No, I mean, we're not talking about that side. We're talking about the problem where it started into the 1600s. I mean, it started way before that. I mean, you know what I mean? But, we're talking about the rule of thumb and its secular secular. I mean, some of the stuff that Martin Luther said was beast, bro. Like he dropped the mic a lot, and the way what he was practicing, what he was still partaking in all the sacraments. What diabolical weird shit that's going on in this world today of these weird 3,000 branches plus. Like that is odd to me. Like that is foreign to the Bible. Like that is
so clearly there's a big question if we are doing the populism thing of trying to have a power block of mutually aligned values. Clearly we're not. I mean that's where the line of ecumenism comes in, because clearly these 3,000 plus different ecclesiological bodies that they're not in communion, they do not share faith, they do not share anything, that we cannot pretend they're aligned. We cannot pretend that they are united. Right. But does that mean there aren't places that we can unite politically?
Exactly, in strength. And that's where pride is set aside. And we can't do that. You know what I mean? We fall victim to its own, the pride, the sense of independence that has been instilled in us. You know what I mean? Like, you know how foreign it is to me. Like for me, like, you know, and then what the media has done all through the 70s, like I couldn't even, I haven't never gone down the psyop of how many of those crazy communes are actually true or not that was put on the TV. You know, they were killing the commune concept then after World War II. All the way up to the 80s, they were actively killing people congregating because it was hard to tax. It was called, you know what I mean? The Amish live Gucci and so well. When I say Gucci, I mean expense, like a sense of wealth. Like they get at 18 a time to go out and throw down. They spend so much capital because they already have made it. and they throw it away on whatever it is. They do it for a couple months, weeks, and they're just like, a lot of times they want to go back. They're like, yeah, what you guys are doing out here is not that fun. Like, y'all are miserable. Like, if this is the best you got, I'm going back. You know. So, and we're talking about they spend like almost like a lot of unlimited savings that they had, acquired thousands of dollars, if not more. So it is, you know, and nobody's asking you to be like nobody, and I don't want people to be Amish. What I want is just a sense of community. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a true sense of community, a true sense of a group of people who have the same moral aspirations and true beliefs. You know what I mean? Whether that be, and not whether that be, but morally, spiritually. You know what I mean? Truly. And that being said, with that, like I said, with number comes power, and it really is like people who want to see a change. You know what I mean? Eventually might grab the concept. I obviously am in no true rush. Like I'm slowly, like, you know, again, it's just all a personal investment. Like right now, I am like slowly doing my part to like clean up and promote the concept and slowly explain it, and you know, and tell others that, like, you know what I mean, it is.
So who would be your target demographic with the project you've got going on with the Nest? Is it all of the young male converts, you know, 18 to 25 that are single? And
no, I don't want to start an army. Like I don't, like I'm not the government. Again, I'm not the government. I'm just, and then some people out here are just tired and trying to, you know, get through the week every week, and just, you know, I don't know who the targeted demographic is. That's what, you know, my problem is. It's like I'm not throwing this up on Zillow for, you know, a condo for rent. This is a different way, and you know, it's like I'm just gonna keep trying to be not too extreme.
Well, I mean, that, I mean, gets questions back to this, because yeah, I mean, a lot of people would look at this aesthetic and think extreme, right?
Yeah, I mean, that one not. That one's beautiful. And show that one. Show that one. Because I want the carriage house to be, I want the building to be seen. This is the building that we're speaking of right here. And in all its glory. Now that it is obviously there's a little AI on it. That's my main building home. But with just flags put onto it. But there's nothing else AI to it. And the soldiers. That's the carriage house itself. And there it goes.
So people see flags and banners and stuff. They're like, oh my gosh,
they're gonna look, dude. They're judgmental, and I don't care. Like, it's like whether you wear tight jeans or a pink shirt. You know what I mean? You're going to be judged, and it's like I know it is extremist. You know what I mean? But it's, as a Christian. My form of shock culture is not flashing myself or letting you look at my six pack so I can get a bunch of likes. You know what I mean? I have to I just have to do there's other forms of that also. That's a badass baklava, dude. That is a pretty cool baklava. I mean, yeah, it does have some weird people on it, but yeah, great company. But yeah, I mean, again, it's truly to try to break away from what was said before us is not working, Mr. Westford. There's only a few of us out here that have won. The rest are just I hate it. And 4 years ago, I was 5 years ago, I was a junkie, dick in the dirt. Excuse my French, everyone. God bless it. But yeah, dude, it wasn't but it was true, moves, dedication, and things like that. And it was a blessing. It was a blessing. And I was
hello,
blessed.
Unfriendly Hood. I've never heard of you. Good to see you, wherever you are out in the ether.
Oh, dang, I'm sorry, you guys. They're probably, I love it, though. That's awesome. So, yeah. That being said, yeah, I mean, dude, it's all it truly is to step away from the system set before us.
So with you titling the project Eastern Orthodox Christian Nationalism, I'm hearing a lot of community, having probably young men or families, deranged evangelical non-denom. Well, let's have a conversation. You're watching me. I'm not scary, probably.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah.
But so I'm hearing community-based, give these people a purpose, give them a lower living wage, lower. What am I trying to say? It cost less cost. Living expense. I don't know why words are hard.
Yeah.
So I know there's a dude watching me now. No, yeah, let's go back to his stream. But so I'm hearing help these people, give them a purpose, give them something to do, give them community, make it where they don't have to work 46 hours a week, whether they have a small family or they're young, single dude or whatever. But with the title of it being nationalism, to me, that's explicitly political. So how does that, is this just how does the political incorporate into the project?
Well, we need numbers to get into politics. All politics are ran on numbers and finances. We would eventually branch into politics, my ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean?
So it does sound more like the Romanian fascist idea of the nest. This is a small 5 to 10 group of young men that are keeping each other accountable, trying to raise the level of spirituality, raise the level of morality, all of that.
In a way, yes, but
because you'll get into the later in that book, the For My Legionaries, that he saw all these people saying they need a new program. We have to do this political steps. We have to go do this. We have to lobby here. And he's like, no, we don't need. I'm not starting with a program. That is playing their game. I'm starting with, we all need to be aligned spiritually, and then whatever we do that we're supposed to do will come from that. If we all get a tighter stitched societal fabric of the men being men and holding each other to a higher standard, then whatever it is we're supposed to do, whatever the program is, that'll come. But he is very explicitly, I'm not giving you step by step what you do. I'm saying be a man.
Right. And that's what it is. It's just like, I mean, like it will be a premise for that. Like that's another thing. This will not only be a blueprint, but a stepping stone. You know, the idea is for growth and development, also a sense of reformation. Like, yeah, let me grab my head together, dedicate my life to my Lord and to my family with, you know, and dedicate, you know, whatever extra time to the community, whatnot. It's slowly spread out and around. Now, if that blueprint wants to be replicated in said state by another time, you know, this community can then, you know, do things to fund and donate that. But by that time, you know what I mean? By that time, this could be like, you know what I mean? There could be people within the Orthodox faith in our community that we established that want to get involved in politics. You know,
right.
And
so you might be thinking of it more organic. Let that thing happen. Let the politics come from the lifting it up.
Nobody is trying to run over and take over. You know, what I do know is that if the true principles and values of the nature were applied, and our Lord Jesus Christ, and we keep accountable each other, and we are accountable to the church and her rule of thumb, like there would be no reason not to thrive. You know what I mean? Especially, I'm telling you, again, the idea is like I get caught like the landlord. I'm the landlord. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's in it. Like it's my garage right now. And, you know, for everybody's sake, eventually, like, you know, here in the next couple coming weeks, a lot has been changing, you know, because of my dedication to orthodoxy, facial tattoos. I've lost some things of, you know, of material value, and my new, I guess, like my public political stance or movement stance. Again, I interact with the wealthy people, you know what I mean, the Jewish men and women, and God bless them, you know what I mean, but they do not like watching St. John of Chrysostom talk about, you know what I mean, they don't like when I share that stuff, and it got to a point where it was like, yo, we're not going to pay the enemy. You know, I already was mocking them with the Orthodox cross on my forehead, but it's like, you know what I mean? PC using their own game against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll come right back to this. While we're being stream sniped, I do want to promote the main project I've been spending all my time on. When I'm not here, I'm working on this. So let's just play the ad.
They thought they had you under their spell. But now you can have all the white pill power right in the palm of your hand. Introducing the Goyen, the Gamma Oscillation Yield Interface Module, your direct connection to EWBSX, the cyber bully, the only radio station that really gets it. It's peaty, it's high tea, and it's always playing bangers. Plus, you'll never be blackpilling again with plenty of high thumos sound bites and regular doses of timeless wisdom from the cyber bully himself. Available in 2 frequencies: alpha mode for the untamed stallion and family mode for sensitive ears. Disintegrate the libs, the grifters, and the subversives. Tune in to the sounds of Eternal White Boy Summer today on your very own Goyim device. EWBSX, the cyber bully. Radio for our guides. But the power of the Goyim in the palm of your hand today. Available for download on all Apple and Android devices.
And since Stevie's not back yet, we'll do another one.
Excuse me. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I have to run the restroom.
So go to the website, download the app on Android or Apple. We have been doing all this work this last 6 months of building our own platform. This is like kind of a white label one that we pay somebody else for. So we're going to have total control. We're building algorithms and systems and a whole community aspect of it. Picture like Discord, but it's all in-house, and it's going to have an app. It's going to have the website. But this is what we got right now. Go support it. There's ways for you to get merch and donate and all that stuff. So support us there. We're trying to quit our day jobs,
Right. And, and that's another thing, dude, as I was, as it is, and I'm articulating this, dude, I'm thinking I was like, just like kind of threw the idea at somebody because they were trying to conceptualize it and it was like a minimal time frame type thing. So I didn't know how to say it, but I was like, dude, imagine one of these like YouTube fun stream house mansions, but gone Orthodox.
Yeah, I mean that's long term with that. We talked about buying land and having like music festival.
But everybody, what I'm saying, and this is what I'm trying to say is like, dude, there's so many people I've heard say the same shit, dude. But like, it's like what? Like, so wait, like, are you putting pennies on? Are people putting pennies on the dollar, or do we want to work together and make this shit happen?
Right.
Like I'm like, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. I'm like, dude, there's like a literal walking 2-block distance. There's a stage and like a 5-acre field that's owned by the veterans. That if we threw $100 and told them a month in advance, they let us do whatever there. You know what I mean? Type stuff. And like owning something of that nature, of that size. Also,
we give them like $100. They let us do our clan rallies. You know how it is.
Like, dude, whatever they made. Yeah, exactly. And, it's like a respectable place where, Christianity is accepted, respected, and thrives. Crime rates are at an all-time low.
That'd be nice.
The fact of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen, is my congregation, I meant my community, is, 70, 80, 90 years old. You know what I'm saying? So target, like truly setting it up, and we're not like, I'm in a location where people can live the American dream. And I'm trying to tell them that and give them a platform where, owning your home across the street or up the hill or by the river or whatever is completely possible. I mean, probably the most possible it would ever be. And that being said, it's, respectfully, I have like a semi-mental time frame, but it's like, dude, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like they say, be the change you want to see in the world. And it's like, dude, like I'm going to plant the tree, man. because tomorrow isn't cutting it. Tomorrow's just not cutting it. And it's just like, I'm really, really convicted about this. Just like, this Protestant ideology of just sitting, I'm going to just pray about it. I'm just going to pray for it. I'm not going to take any action. I'm not going to do my part. You know what I mean? But, I'm not like, it is what it is.
I hope it's not bear talk. I don't even know too much about it. I've heard through the grapevine about it. Do you know who Owen Benjamin is?
I don't.
No, you don't. That's good.
Wait, excuse me. Good. Say that one more time.
No, I don't. You don't know, so I'm not gonna hurt you
okay.
by giving you that secret knowledge.
Oh, okay.
You're better off without.
Listen, It's all, the scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean? So, all that being said, man, it's, yeah, dude, all of there's got to be a change, dude. We've all literally just found out that our leaders, and I'm a third-time Trump voter, bro. I am so disgusted in the jury of what he did, not only just as an individual, but to the nation, to all the people, his quote-unquote voters, all of it, just a complete disgust. And that is wild. Yeah, the conception as an Orthodox Christian and as a Christian in general, you know what I mean? Because that's another problem. It's like a lot of our patriotic, counterpartners, nobody's hating. Again, dude, super proud of this nation. You know what I mean? Nobody's on some anti-America burning flag type shit. But this demonic thing going on, like we just found out that they were, eating babies, and doing mad other weird stuff. And 2 days later, people are watching the Super Bowl, the most ever watched Super Bowl on the internet, fighting about which halftime show was better. And I am so vilely disgusted by these gluttonous whores that they are my peers. And I literally had to confess, because I was so, and still am, like, by, God, have mercy on me. But it just is like, something has to change. And it's like, and I promise you, dude, I shopped coming from SoFlo, I shopped the nation. You know what I mean? With little limitations. And I truly picked one of the most peaceful environments, right? For many levels and for many purposes. So it's just again, you know what I mean? All things are articulated and thought out, and it comes for even going into that situation. It's just dude, we got to be the change we want to see in the world. That's just it. They're like, oh, it starts in your community. It starts, but it really does. It starts at home. You as yourself become strong enough to become you know what I mean? It's, it says that, talking about sowing the seeds and keeping them, you know what I mean? And keeping them together so that and keeping them nourished so that they flourish. So big that the canopy can be room for the trees and bless others with the fruit that it bears.
So I've come around with sports ball and NFL and getting drunk and watching sports, whatever. From high school, I was always, football's fun. I want to play, but
right.
I don't. And part of it's probably because, my family broke apart when I was 7. My dad loves sports and loves Cowboys, and we used to watch that stuff. But by the time I was, puberty, it was we weren't doing anything like that. So I always was I sitting around and watching it or looking up the stats and fantasy football. I didn't get that at all. I was like, this is not fun. Playing's fun. This is not fun. But recently, I get it a lot more than I did before, because I was, black pilled. It's all bread and circus. They're just trying to distract you stuff. And I think there is that intention, and that does happen. But I think that doesn't make the thing itself wrong, because sports, the Super Bowl, is a way to practice nationalism. Absolutely. It is a way for you to go, this is my team, and I'm supporting my team, and I see where I am in the hierarchy and all this stuff.
And the beauty of the physicality of our God-given gifts, of humanity.
Have you ever seen the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I had a big conversation with somebody who's super into sports recently, and then the next day I watched that movie, and I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I totally get this aspect, because it's all these people who are mentally ill. I mean, quote unquote, a lot of the whole movie is about the Longhouse. It's about female domination over men and men abdicating and subjugating themselves to it and then feeling they're in a box. And they're like, well, I'm not ready to be a man yet because the woman says I'm not ready yet. And it's the whole movie is just about what happens when men give up their roles and let a tyrannical demon woman, a scorpion woman take over. That's the whole movie. But there's a point where the guy's like, can we watch baseball? Like we should all do something. Like you guys are sitting here talking about your problems. We need to just do something. And like they all come alive for like the first time in the movie from being like full of anxiety and now there's dudes like having fun.
Well, the thing is, man, the game itself and partaking of the game itself is not weird to me, right? Like, dude, you want to go play football, we're talking football, right? We're talking about soccer. I mean, I'll throw it. And I'm wide receiver. I'm skinny fast and I'll catch a ball. Born and raised here. But when it comes to soccer today, I love it. Still love it. And enjoy watching it. Hockey too. As a Northerner, I do. I like the fact that you can just fight legally in the game. They're like, oh yeah, I don't like the way you hit that. Let's throw right now. And it's just totally part of the game. So it's that outside of boxing is the only game that you can do that in. All that being said, damn, dude, I lost my point. I'm so sorry.
Well, I think where I consider it like bread and circus is when you because I met them where like their whole life is football,
dude,
or they put football over their kids or whatever. Like I knew a guy that was like he spent all of his paid time off, all of his leave from work to like watch like the NBA and stuff. I'm like, I mean, I get you're into it or whatever, but
it gets emotional to these people. It gets emotional. They get financially invested and will pay an arm and a leg to go see a game and have a couple beers there, and it's like, dude, again, and it started, what were the first Coliseums? When people were entertained watching Christians being killed, dude. And it's set up the same way. Now it's just a bunch of people throwing a ball together, kicking a ball, and it's okay. I mean, the Mayans did it with their hips and the ball through the hoop, all that jazz. So it's been going on for entertainment is part of any type of empire success because it has to be established. They know this because if there's no entertainment, then people are thinking. And if people are thinking, then people realize what the hell is actually going on. You know what I mean? And probably
right. But I'm saying you can participate in the sport and watching the sports, being a fan of that, and not be having your brain turned off and not seeing what's going on, right?
Right. Oh no, yeah, this is true.
I think there's this assumption of like bread and circus. It's just there to turn your mind off. But I don't think that's like always the case. I think that's a large percentage of sports watchers.
I think it is a large percentage, and especially just being a partaker of the matrix and the interwebs, so to speak. There's a lot of people, who are again, when it comes to time, finances, understanding things, there's no need for college today if you have a smartphone. You know what I mean? If you're in a tough situation, there's no need for you to talk about a game. And whether it be truly, whether it be a video game, whether it be that, I would send your ass to church. To Orthodox, and don't get it twisted. I like the game Dark Souls, which is an in-depth RPG. You know what I mean. So I'm kind of nerdy when it gets to things of that nature.
Yeah, I think all that stuff is just it's moderation. It's time and place. It's not letting it go too high hierarchy of value.
Amen. So you know what I mean. There's a time and a place, and truly you understand priorities, and when things become out of your control are the moments that you let it go. And I guess that's the difference. But anyways, excuse me, say that again, my brother.
I want to cap it at 2 hours because I got a lot of other stuff I got to get done today. But last 10 minutes, what did we not cover about nationalism, about your project, about against medical advice, anything? I'll let you have the floor wherever you want to take it.
Dude, okay, Against Medical Advice is taking its time as it's becoming more of a cinematic project, in-depth project, dropped by like an episode, just to touch base on that. So if you get the AMA show on Instagram, if you haven't like followed that, you can. It is still continuing phenomenally. Love everybody in the chat, all the supporters and the haters, obviously. In my high, I move a lot, dude. I'm North. I was born in Jersey, and I'm a European kind of mutt. So I'm so sorry, dude. And I get nervous when handsome men ask things like that. Duh. I'm kidding. All that being said, yeah, dude, the nationalist movement of Eastern Orthodoxy, just to implement, the church being proud of where we're at, working as a community, and really building together and simplifying the system. The system can be simplified in numbers, but when people become independent, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? And that's that. So again, community-based, love thy neighbor being the key point, and yeah. Dude, it's been a pleasure. Outside of that, I have nothing to say.
All right. Well, I'll say it one more time. Go download EWBSX on your smartphone. Get the
phenomenal. By the way, phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal. I'm not even part of. I just partake in the content and get to enjoy it. And dude, so much fun. The website's epic and just total vibes, dude. But
I can send you the beta form of the new platform. I'm gonna need more beta testers because we have like 2 web developers that have been doing everything for the meme that we offer to pay them, and like I love you guys, I love the project. We're doing it for the meme, so that's been a huge blessing because I feel like the work they've put in is probably like 50 grand. So that's cool, but we definitely need more beta testers because that is the biggest thing is just finding bugs, seeing where things break, and then being able to get that to the developers to fix. Absolutely. So I can send you some of the behind the scenes stuff where we're going.
Yes, do it, dude. No, for real, because it's totally cool. And I'm not to cut you off. I even think you should drop the commercial again before cutting the stream. But that shit, that excuse my French. That dude, it's fun. It's exciting. It's a different vibe than.
It's funny.
What the general public is.
My godfather said it's the first show he's ever listened to where he's excited and anticipating the ads. He's like, I'm going to get to the next ad because we do all these fake comedy ads that are high production, all audio stuff.
It's something I would love to support, even in said future carriage house. Like I'm saying, you know what I mean? Projects like that, like again, SOS has had its opportunity. You know what I mean? And there's things. I want, like you said, it's just, all that being said, let it be blessed.
So I'm about to pull up the ad again. I have to skip through a commercial real quick to get to my commercial. Yeah, dude, you know what's up.
Yeah.
They thought they had you under their spell. But now you can have all the white pill power right in the palm of your hand. Introducing the Goyen, the Gamma Oscillation Yield Interface Module, your direct connection to EWBSX, the cyber bully, the only radio station that really gets it. It's peaty, it's high tea, and it's always playing bangers. Plus, you'll never be blackpilling again with plenty of high thumos sound bites and regular doses of timeless wisdom from the cyber bully himself. Available in 2 frequencies. Alpha mode for the untamed stallion and family mode for sensitive ears. Disintegrate the limbs, the grifters, and the subversives. Tune in to the sounds of Eternal White Boy Summer today on your very own Goyim device. EWBSX, the cyber bully. Radio for our guys. But the power of the Goyim in the palm of your hand today. Available for download on all Apple and Android devices.
Yeah.
Hysterical, dude.
So go do that. All right, everybody. Thank you for hopping in. I'll be doing more streams. Eventually you'll get, it's all about creating scarcity, so if I gave you, daily streams, once a month streams, I mean, are you going to show up? I don't know. But if I create some scarcity, then maybe I get some magic. So Stevie, thank you for getting me to do this, getting me out of bed.
Yeah.
And thank you for the conversation.
You're so much fun and so rad, dude. Always. Much.
All right, everybody. Peace out.